Hello everyone, welcome to Fairy Tale and Fiction. My name is Sophie and today I will be giving you my June wrap-up video. Also, I haven't got a cold anymore. Yay! So far in June I have read a total of 10 books. It may even be 11 by the time the month is over. And first of all, I started this month's reading with Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. I adored this book. Oh my goodness. I know everyone's been talking about it and raving about it for ages. I only just got round to reading this book. Oh my goodness. As I said, absolutely loved it. I'd never read any like steampunky stuff before. I loved the idea of the automatons. I really want to be a shadow hunter. They're friggin' awesome. The whole Gem Will thing, I totally love Will so much. I did also start reading the second book and I need to locate the third one because I want to finish this series so bad. I heard a rumour that the director of City of Bones will be also doing Clockwork Angel at some point, penciled in for sort of 2015. I don't know how much truth there is to that rumour, but I think this would make an absolutely amazing film. Cassandra Clare has got this way of describing scenery and place that is just so vivid, and like the images in my head were so strong, which sometimes I struggle with when I read, to actually properly imagine things. But I found with this book that everything was so bright. It took me a little while to get into, actually, if I'm honest. I found the first sort of third of the book very difficult to read. I found it quite dull, but I think the second 2/3 made up for that so much, and yeah, I ended up absolutely loving this book, and I would recommend it to everyone because everyone should read this. Next up this month I read Jeanette Winterson's The Daylight Gate. You may have seen my review on this book, which I will do a link to down in the down bar. I borrowed it from my local library because it seemed like something different to read, and it was, and I loved it. It was really short. It took me less than 24 hours to get through it. If you haven't seen my review, I suggest you check it out because I'm not going to talk about this in great detail in this video. But it's about the 1600s and the witch trials that took place in England around that time, and you should read this book because it's awesome. Next I read my ebook for the month, and that was Looking for Alaska by John Green. I've been meaning to read this for absolutely ages, and after reading The Daylight Gate I wanted something really quick to read and something I couldn't really decide what I wanted to read, so I thought, well, why not get this book read, because I've read The Fault in Our Stars, I've read An Abundance of Catherines, I needed to read Looking for Alaska. And I think my opinions on this may be a little bit controversial. I didn't enjoy it as much as I did Abundance of Catherines or The Fault in Our Stars, if I'm honest. I found that the character of Alaska, they kind of glorified the fact that she wasn't well. To me, she struck me as mentally unstable, and it seemed like she was meant to be beautiful because of the fact that she was slightly unhinged. I don't like that in stories. I don't think that mental illness is something that should be looked on as some sort of beautiful strangeness. I have a history of depression myself, and I don't think that it's something that I find in today's culture. It is glorified a little bit, and there are lots of people that kind of think it's beautiful, and it's not. It's horribly debilitating, and I don't want people to see her as a role model, which I think may happen because of this book. But before I get all the haters, I still love you, John Green. I love your writing. Yes, I love the way that Miles is, his voice comes through in the narrative. the Colonel is my favourite character in this book. I think he's absolutely brilliant. From his pranks to the fact that he does have this softer side that he doesn't let anyone see because of the environment that he's in and the way he grows up. I really enjoyed the characterization of these two particular characters. It was just Alaska that I struggled with. Overall, it is a really good book. I did enjoy it, but as I said, that thing kind of niggled with me a little bit, and I'm hoping that Paper Towns, which is my next to read of John Green, I enjoy more, because yeah, I'm sorry, don't hate me, I'm still a nerd fighter, promise. Next up this month I read Garden Spells, which I borrowed from the library originally, and I enjoyed so much that I bought a copy of it myself. Garden Spells was Sarah Addison Allen's first ever novel, and it is kind of a magical realism novel set in America, in Carolina, I believe. Yes, set in North Carolina, and it is about the Waverly sisters and their magical garden, and it's really good. I really enjoyed it. I shut this book with a smile on my face. There should be a review coming very soon, or may already be posted by the time I get around to posting this. I should really sort out my organisational skills. But yes, I really enjoyed this book. It was beautiful, and the themes in it I found really engaging. I loved the character of, is it Evernell? She is absolutely adorable. If you've read this book, she's like this little old lady that knows that she needs to give people things but doesn't know why she needs to give them. So she gives someone paracetamol, and maybe 2 or 3 hours later they've got a headache, and all of a sudden, oh look, they've got paracetamol. So yeah, she's such a cute character, and since reading this book I've picked up Sarah Addison Allen's The Sugar Queen, and I'm really looking forward to reading her other stuff, and a new book of hers is coming out next year called The Lost Lake, which I'm looking forward to as well, because that sounds awesome too. So yes, Garden Spells by Sarah Addison Allen, I highly recommend it. Next up this month I read The Orphan Choir by Sophie Hannah. If you watched my May haul you will have seen that I bought this in Asda the week it came out for about £5, and I got excited by the fact it had a shiny cover, and yeah, I don't really enjoy this book that much. I found the main character just annoyingly neurotic. It was in first person, so she kind of, it's very long-winded, the build-up, the setting the scene. It's not a very long book, and I would say about 3/4 of it is meant to be building up, but there was absolutely no tension in it whatsoever. For a Hammer horror novel, I didn't find it very scary. The Orphan Choir was eventually a little bit creepy, but they didn't come until sort of the last couple of chapters of the book, and yeah, I wasn't loving this month. But after the massive fail of the Orphan Choir, I started a series which I have been meaning to read for absolutely ages, because I decided that I wanted to read all of them by the time the next film came out, and that series is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, and oh my goodness, how much I love this, I cannot even tell you. I read each book within 24 hours of starting them, and oh my goodness, you've probably already read it if you haven't read The Hunger Games or seen the film. I don't know what rock you've been living under, but The Hunger Games is about a girl called Katniss Everdeen, and she lives in a dystopian, futuristic America where the Capitol, which is like the capital, it kind of symbolises capitalism. By the way, the symbology in this is absolutely amazing, and oh my goodness. But yes, and the Capitol every year hold an annual Hunger Games, which is where 2 people from each district, each of the 12 districts that aren't the capital, have to fight to the death for the capital's amusement. and just yes, I absolutely loved it, and I loved Peter from the very start, and then I loved him even more in this book, and then I loved him even more in this one. And yeah, as I said, I read them one after the other. I should really take that sticker off of Catching Fire because that's really going to annoy me. Yes, I got them all in Tesco's. I can't actually wait to read these again when I get a spare moment, and I haven't got 500 books that I need to read, which I have at the moment. I would recommend these to anyone. I've been babbling on about them to the people at work, to like my parents' friends when they come and visit, when they've got kids, and I'm like, yeah, you should get them to read this. Catching Fire is coming out in the cinemas in November, and I will be there the day it comes out. Like, let me in, I want to see this film. Yes, I absolutely adored this. This is now on my favourite series shelf in my room. I've got all my Harry Potter books and all my Series of Unfortunate Events books, and now these are on there, and my Twilight books are on a different shelf, but we don't talk about them too much. The Hunger Games, Catching Fire and Mockingjay, I read these 3 this month. Next up this month I read The Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. This is a library copy. I will be getting my own lovely hardback edition at some point, but right now I decided to get it from the library so that I didn't have to wait to read it. I actually picked this up the day after I finished reading Clockwork Angel, and had this sudden fear of, I don't want to start reading the second book because what if it's not what I want it to be? And so I procrastinated and read, how many books was it? 7 books in between reading the first and second in this Infernal Devices trilogy. I'm really annoyed that I did procrastinate that much because I loved this so much more than the first one. I found this really engaging. Again, the first bit I found a little bit like, oh, come on, get to the story. But after that, oh my goodness, my mum had to put up with me going, oh no, every sort of 2 pages towards the end of the book, and now I need to locate some way of reading Clockwork Princess because I can't wait another 7 books in order to read that because I think I might explode. Yes, Clockwork Prince. Next this month I read Series of Unfortunate Events, The Miserable Mel. I read this when I was very little and decided to reread it again this month because I was very bored, and I have the ebook of it on my phone, and I finished it in 2.5 hours. So anyone that hasn't read the Series of Unfortunate Events, it is based around the Baudelaire orphans, Violet, Klaus and Sunny, and their series of unfortunate guardians after their parents die in a horrible fire, and they are being followed around by this evil villain called Count Olaf, and he wants to try and steal their fortune. So this is the 4th in the series. I have most of the series upstairs. I think I'm missing like 3 of the books, and I've been collecting those as and when I see them in second-hand stores and things. This wasn't my favourite one of the series. I still think the second one is my favourite, the Reptile Room. But I thought this was quite good because of the hypnosis thing. I found that really cool. And I know the writing style isn't meant for someone my age, but I still really enjoy it. I love little Sunny's outbursts of random words and her little chewy teeth. So yes, I'll probably carry on reading this series as and when I can't find anything else to read. It's quite nice to have them just on my phone. They're kind of little files, and when I get bored waiting for stuff I can flick through and read it. So yes, that's The Miserable Mel by Lemony Snicket. And the last book that I am currently reading this month, and will probably have finished by the time the month is over, is 100 Names by Cecilia Ahern. It is a library book that I borrowed at the beginning of the month, and once again procrastinated to the point where I've only just started reading it today, but I'm a fair way through it already. It's about a journalist called Kitty Logan, and her mentor leaves her a list of 100 names, and she has to work out what this list is, and because she's having problems with finding good stories for herself at the moment, and she thinks these names may lead her to a very good story. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm only a couple of chapters in though, to be fair, so I can't really judge it too much. Maybe I'll do a little bit of it in my next month's wrap up, or do a review if I find it that engaging. But this is my first Cecilia Ahern book. As you will have seen in my hauls, I have bought a fair amount of her books recently and not read any of them, so if I enjoy this, then it will be off onto the next load. But I'm enjoying it so far. It's very easy going. I don't find it like it's involving me too much into the story, a bit like the Clockwork Prince was kind of like immersed into the story itself, whereas this is quite light reading. So yes. So yes, they are the 11 books that I read this month. Leave your comments in the comments if you have read any of these books and what your opinions on them were. Tell me what you've been reading this month, and if you have read The Orphan Choir, was it as disappointing for you as it was for me? Hopefully I will be back very soon with a July TBR video. I don't do too rigid a TBR because I tend to read as and what I feel like reading after I've read the last book, because sometimes a book is very heavy and you can't afford to read another heavy book after it because your mind will just... I will do a sort of rough outline of a TBR for next month. I hope you've all been keeping well. Happy reading to you all, and I will see you all soon. Bye bye. Yeah, I still love Will. I love you, Will Herondale. Please don't be non-existent and fictional.